Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Rage, and we are back today with an exciting Dark Dimension 6 update video for you all. So in today's video, we're going to be starting the Cosmic section, as well as showcasing for you guys the 5 characters I'm bringing in, and as well how that first attempt is going to look. So having said that, guys, let's get right to it. There are some certain locks that I'm sure most folks have already seen from previous videos, but as well, we've seen the value of both Vahl and Kang, their usage already in the initial nodes, the supportive capabilities, and the damage output by Kang. It's going to be absolutely a really incredible ride to partake in this next section with those 2 characters. But now, rounding out the rest of the 2 of them are going to be the new additions here of Kestrel, the Ravager Stitcher, and more recently, Photon being part of that Secret Defenders team. I really like this mixture of Kestrel because a lot of folks are probably going to already have her at really high gear tier levels, needing the Big Boy Apocalypse unlock. So gear tier 17 is not too far off. I also love the fact that Kestrel is a standalone, self-sufficient character and a mixture of that tech and skill gear, which we don't utilize too much in Dark Dimension 6. So it's great to have that usage there. She's going to be bringing in a lot of vulnerables with her Raider, and I'm hoping it is going to ping a lot of AoE damage and synergize with Kang right there. Ravager Stitcher kind of rounding out the team with his supportive buffs and heals. I really like the fact that even though he is a minion character, a lot of his abilities does scale with HP. So I mean, especially more notably his special, stealing 10% and being able to steal it again. On top of that, having him as a striker is going to allow him to utilize his basic ability here, which additionally also has piercing and implies heal block if there's a defense down. So that defense down is going to be set upon by Kestrel. It's going to have some really good synergy. And what doesn't hurt is characters killed by this attack can also not be revived. So that's a nice little bonus there. I wish he had an ultimate ability, but for him, his passive just basically gives him more HP and regen. So I mean, it is what it is. Beggars can't be choosers. But what I really like more importantly with Stitcher is the fact that he's tech, he's cheap, and he's going to give me some more versatility when I'm deciding the options for both city and as well as the non-horseman legendary section. So last but not least, guys, Photon rounding out the rest of my team. There's a reason for why some of these T4s have not been activated, but more specifically though, she came in the nick of time for me deciding the Cosmic section because of the fact that she is such a great and all-around strong character that can be utilized in all game modes. Her special is going to be able to give value, applying blind and slow for all the impacted targets. Additionally, on top of that, she's going to be able to clear deflex, so that's going to really help. I like the fact that it's also high focus, so we can actually leverage her into that striker opportunity to take advantage of the vulnerables. But more importantly, her ultimate is devastating, attacking enemies, applying offense down, defense up for the allies, and then obviously if there was Secret Defender or A-Force, she also does grant speed up, but unfortunately that's not the case here. Also granting as well energy, so that's really nice to have. But overall, looking like a really strong, well-rounded kit. I wish I could get higher yellows on her. Maybe by the time that I push deeper into the Cosmic section, that will be the case. But having said that, 5 very powerful Cosmic characters, a great mixture of the gear usage, especially with all of them kind of managing now how my future elo is going to be. So a great variety here, guys. Having said that, I think this team is going to do really well. Let's see how the first attempt goes, and let's get right to it. Total team power 1.5 million, and yeah, like we previously noted that the global nodes are some of the harder sections, so we don't expect the Cosmic to be as difficult. But having said that, there are some pretty prominent characters that we have access to, which make it much better. So first and foremost, starting off in this node, you're going to see that we're up against a lot of enemies, but thankfully I did have Kang's ultimate recharge from the initial section when I first brought him into Dark Dimension. So this is kind of why I like Photon. As you can see, her special there, the amount of blinds that we get to apply, it's that right side that we're going to be targeting here just because of the damage they have. And then we got Vahl's ability block on the left side. So right side's blinded, left side's ability blocked. More so specifically focusing, you know, that Iron Fist World War II can deal some pretty heavy damage with the stun and healing as well, right? But something to be mindful of in this initial section is definitely that Human Torch. You know, taking him out of the way. We got Kestrel's passive attacks as well when we aim for any enemy that has the defense down. So I really like that value aspect there. But you can see this wave has a lot of damage going on. So thankfully, the passive from Kang does take down Human Torch. And now we can go ahead. We can start resuming our damage again. Our Cosmic characters just deal so much more damage than my global. So this is definitely refreshing. Yeah, so again, that left side, thankfully, with all the ability blocks lasting for 2 turns, I mean, we can really kind of take our time. And keep in mind, anytime Val has that exposure there, we want to be targeting that enemy as much as possible, so that way energy is getting granted back to Val. That way we can get Val's ability block again, but as well, I love how the synergy is working. The exposure gives energy. We're at targeting someone that has defense down, so Kestrel's passive is going to ping, and then we can take advantage of everybody else on the team as well. And you can really see how fast the energy does come back as a result of us targeting these enemies with exposure. So you do want to be consistently spreading that around. So, using basic from Val to target characters like that Invisible Woman to the top left. We finished off Iron Fist, and now we can actually go ahead and keep targeting that. But just be mindful of the fact that we also want to balance out how the vulnerables are across the enemy. So that way we're maximizing the damage output, but as well, ensuring that the exposure is being maximized when there is an opportunity to do so. So in this initial wave, not too bad. We're doing really good. The Invisible Woman is definitely someone you want to focus, just because that way, if she's ability blocked, she's not cleansing. But as well, now that she's taken care of, we're looking really, really good. They don't have their defensive capability, but you can see how fast these enemies hit. And right from that moment, my Kestrel goes down. But again, the Cosmic section has just so much flexibility in the sense that with Val, we can revive our team or heal them back up. So it's not going to be an issue or concern. And that's part of the reason why I think we're going to do much better, obviously, going forward in these nodes. So finally, just taking this opportunity to use the devastating ultimate from Val. We revive our team. But just look at the damage we're doing. Trauma, but we do see now in this next wave, there's a pretty powerful, sizable Doctor Doom that we have to be cautious on. Jessica Jones being able to cleanse. There's another Invisible Woman and an Iron Fist World War II on top of an Ebony Maw. So again, we're targeting the exposure, but thankfully those enemies from the first wave are very, very, weakened, and now we're cleaning up. The timing of this special couldn't have been any better because we target, a key character in Doctor Doom, especially making sure that we can hit him before his ult actually is used on us, right? So that's pretty big. But so yeah, like that timing worked out perfectly. But ideally, that's kind of what you want to focus for. I decided to blind that right side just because, again, I'm trying to mitigate as much damage. These guys just hit like a truck. We finally get a chance here to use Stitcher to heal up. That's pretty much what he's gonna be known for. I mean, as you can see, he's basically just a punching bag. He's not really doing too much. But again, we kind of knew that going forward because he's going to be the cost savings that we'll be having later on if we decide to bring in more tech characters. And even more than just that, it gives us slotting to save the other resources we didn't use, which in this case was Mystic Gear being a notable factor. So at this point, yeah, like you can see, these guys just hit so hard. Photon, like surprisingly, really, really good. 4 yellow stars, doing really good. Bringing her own to the table, but as well, that defense up, the offense down. I love the support she's giving. She definitely could use some more HP and stats because of how low she is on the stars, but love the fact that she's still useful. Dr. Doom goes down. We're looking really good so far for this first attack. Once again, Val with the devastating ultimate to bring back my fallen Kang, healing up the team, but as well, that scaled HP damage against the enemy. So we're going to focus on cleaning up this left side here before the next wave drop, just because we don't want cleansers like Invisible Woman and Jessica Jones to be carried forward into the next wave here. Beautiful. Just look at the amount of damage that Kang can do. I absolutely love it. He's just such a critical character for honestly this entire section. The fact that whenever these enemies do have barrier, he can just shred right through them, and it's absolutely huge, guys. When you're left with both Ebony Maw and World War II, best to leave Ebony Maw, I think, just because he doesn't do a lot of damage. And like I said, we don't know what the next wave is going to hold, but if there's any kind of fellow invader allies, you know that obviously World War II, he's not great to have as a support character, and he can be quite pesky, so we want to take advantage of that. So cleaning up here, right before Ebony Maw even goes down, actually, so it looks like the wave did spawn immediately after Iron Fist, and that's why I'm glad we didn't take a look previewing wise, but I'm glad we took him down first. We want to ability block that right side there, especially with that big cluster of invaders mixed in with Jessica Jones, Call Obsidian, Ebony Maw, this Black Order strange combination here that we're up against. The big Kang ultimate as usual, reducing turn meter, the devastating damage, and again we're capitalizing on the exposure that we see here, but this is a great opportunity for us. We see a lot of enemies here, so it's a great time to use Photon's ultimate, the defense up, the offense down, and just doing really good work in this wave, right? But you're gonna see pretty shortly here, these guys do so much damage. We want to save Vahl's ultimate obviously at the end of the day, just because you don't know when you do need it. But it's all good. We're spreading the exposure, and we're, again, just targeting enemies weaker. Personally, I would recommend taking down, again, the cleansers, right? Although there is a lot of damage dealers, we ability block that right side, so at least the damage then should be kind of sustained. And then at this point, I saw that there's quite a few enemies weakened, so I figured, why the heck not? Use the ultimate, and just the amount of damage sometimes. You may not always just want to use the ult, but like I just saw that it does so much damage to this massive cluster that it wasn't a terrible idea. And we also saw that the right side still had a bunch of ability blocks, so we were well protected. So we're going ahead here, just doing work, finishing these guys off, and looking really, really good. That does actually spawn another invisible woman, so something to be mindful of. These pop all over the place within this node. So the RNG finally worked against me. We were doing really good, but as you can see, my team was kind of feeling the impact of all these guys. Their Ebony Maw does unfortunately take down one of my key characters here, and we can start kind of feeling the impact there. Photon goes down, and just look at the burst damage, right? The thing is, we were able to contain them for so long with the ability blocks, but finally, even their basic attacks, these guys hit like a truck, but a very, very meaningful attack. Just look at the raw amount of damage that we did for just one attack. 16 enemies down, so this was a big success. At this point, you know, we're just trying to see if we can target any enemies and just do some damage, but we know that it's going to be an L, but it's a very, very meaningful attempt here. And you can see in this Warfare wave, thankfully they actually just used our abilities from the get-go, so it's good for us because we didn't at least have any debuffs kind of stripped away, but we can still use, you know, Photon special there. We had some good energy from last round to actually use that blind, so that was big for us. We're going to be targeting whoever we can. Obviously, there's a lot of weakened enemies in this place, so we're in a really good position to take advantage of this. Absolutely love how high value Stitcher is. You can see, like, just because of how his abilities scale, it can hit like a truck, but as well heal up our team because of how the HP is scaling. So I opted to use the ultimate there because I figured, my goodness, there were so many good enemies to target. As you can see, it blew out a lot of these waves here with 11 out of 32 characters left. Like, we're looking really good. This next wave does spawn, so something to be mindful of. Another Human Torch with burst. Obviously, the Fantastic Four having value there. Now, another opportunity. Whenever you see any enemies with that barrier, make sure you're targeting adjacent enemies. That way, you are cleansing it. So, Invisible Woman got that stripped right away. You can see there's an Ebony Maw. It's weaker on the left side too, so something just to focus. But again, the devastating ultimate from Photon. And let's not talk about, you know, her passives are really good too, that additional damage when it does hit that charge. So really big, you know, the offense down, defense up, just some notable impacts that we didn't foresee before. So a huge addition, but as well also being part of that that Secret Defenders meta. It's great that we were able to invest double dip in value there. So when you're able to then, after the ultimate, Vahl does have the chance to ability block, and obviously you want to be using that as much as you can. It just mitigates damage, prevents these enemies from being stronger than they are. And once again, we're targeting Thanos because he has the exposure, gives us back energy, and a timely Kang ultimate. So it just worked out really well for how this attempt was with their cooldowns. Just the devastating damage. You can see though, the one thing to be mindful of now is that a Dr. Doom just spawned in the back left there. So he's the other pain point of this node, right? Obviously the first one we handled, but we just used Vahl's ability block. So we're obviously not in the same position as before where we had that ready to go. Unfortunately, some weaker enemies on that right side, so we were able to clean that up. Invisible Woman goes down. Torch is looking good, so it was nice. It was nice that, and then with the amount of attacks we did, look, check this out. Like, we actually got enough energy to get the ability block on time, and thankfully was able to land it on Dr. Doom. So putting us in a really good position to actually finish off the rest of this node. But the other thing to be mindful of is that we want to be ready for the next node, right? We can't just use all our abilities now, and obviously it's going to be wasted. So I see, you know, unfortunately Photon does go down, so it makes me a little wary. We know we need some cooldowns increased here, just because we're kind of in an unfortunate position. HP is lower, our cooldowns we just used, but we do have the ultimate here from Vahl, so this is a good timing of it, just to be able to bring back our team, do the heals. But now the one thing to be mindful is that we just used her ultimate, so we want that kind of ready to go for the next node, and that's something you need to be cautious on. It can be a difference maker, honestly, and unfortunately Photon goes down, so at that point I just give up on her. You know, we just brought her back and she already got taken down. So I mean, not a big deal, but at the end of the day, that was a wasted opportunity. But thankfully, our team isn't looking in a good position. Dr. Doom has the exposure once again, so we're going to be targeting him. Bucky goes down. Now it's just basically Union Jack and Dr. Doom. And again, I'm trying not to use any abilities, but target the exposures. But you'll see I'm very, very conservative because I definitely do not want to use any abilities at this point. And we know Dr. Doom's going to get his ultimate. So this is actually how the wave is going to end, because I decided that, you know, I'd rather take his ultimate and start off in a better attempt next node than to use an ultimate or ability block that's wasted. So I opt for that because now it's cool. We take this opportunity to build up energy now in the next attack, which is huge for us setting up the final wave here. And with Dark Dimension 6, it is a marathon, not a sprint. So now that we have another duo over here with the 5 characters to build up energy, I think this is definitely recommended. Like, I know typically you don't want to, you know, avoid an ultimate. You don't want to, you know, take an ultimate just like that. But by doing that, we go in now with full energy and being able to target them once again here to save up our abilities. I think this is absolutely huge. Even though, you know, it costs us the attempt, at the end of the day, it's about planning forward, right? I mean, one attack is not a big difference in the grand scheme of things when we're going through this. And now, you just check this out. We have Kang getting his full ultimate ready for the next node. Kestrel's ready to go. Photon, I think, has her special ready to go now. Yeah, the only thing is just soaking up kind of the damage that obviously this Dr. Doom can do. But now, Vahl has both the special and the ultimate ready. And this is an opportune moment to maximize success in the future if you want to set up for a very powerful first attack for the next node. So there you guys have it. The node 1 for Cosmic Section completed in 3 attacks. I'll give you guys the overview here, but yeah, super straightforward. I definitely like the speed of this compared to Globo. It just feels way more streamlined with these characters, and again, having that revive of Vahl has been absolutely huge. So let's take a look here, and just to showcase for you guys as well. Yeah, 3 attacks, looking good. And per usual, I like to show you guys where I'm ranking after the completion. So top 1,000 still, which is awesome to see. Free to play, 655, doing good. And we're just going to keep progressing along here, guys. So thank you for following along. Thank you for your support. I'll keep you guys up to date as I progress further. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.